Alright everyone, let's talk about something that might sound advanced at first, type conversion. Now you might be thinking, do I really need this right now? You may even forget these little things later, but don't worry, having one practice on them can be a great help for you later, not to get surprised on JavaScript. So let's talk about type conversion. Let's say that we have a let num and we're gonna set it to a string of 10. So if I console log the num, so you can see I get 10, which is the result. And if I say console log type of num, and I get a string because the actual value is 10, the string of 10, and the type of the value is a string. So if I want to turn this variable, the value of this variable to a number, there are actually a few ways that we can do that, and there are a few reasons why you would want to convert a string to a number. For example, imagine somebody is submitting the form and you're receiving a value as a string, but you want it actually to be a number because you want to do an arithmetic operation on it and so on. So there's a part you want to turn your string to an actual number. And there are a few ways to do that. So the first way is actually the parse int method. So let's try it out. So we say num is equal to parse int, and then you put the num inside that. Now you can see that we have 10 as a number, the color has changed, and the type is actually a number. So the first way that we can do this is to use the method of parse int. Now let me comment this one. The second way, which is actually a very simpler way and the newer way, is unary plus operator. I'm not sure if we write it like this, but nevertheless, you can say num is equal. All you have to do is to write the num, but you should put a plus sign before the num again, and you can see that we have 10 as a number and the type is definitely the number. Now the third way that you can actually turn your string to a number is the method or the number constructor. So number constructor. So all you have to do is to say num, and then you write the number capital case, which is the constructor, and you put num inside it. And as you can see, again, we have 10 and the type of number. So this is the way that we actually can turn our string to numbers. Now, what if we want to do this vice versa? I mean, if we have a number, let's say that we have a number of 10, not the string because I removed the quotation marks. Now I have 10 and the type is number. What if I want to turn it to a string? Now, well, let's say that we have, let me write here, let me write a comment here, string to number, and now here we have number to string. Now, one way to turn your number to a string is actually the toString method. So we can say num is equal to num, and then we use the method of toString on it. Now, if you do that, simply we get 10 and the type is string. Another simple way, let me write here, the number one method is toString method. And another way is actually the string structure, like the number structure. We can say num is equal to num. We can say string, a capital case, and then we put num inside it. And again, I said num. Num, and you can see that we have 10 as a string. So all you have to do is to put this num inside this instructor, a constructor of why did I write structure? Constructor, sorry, constructor. Yeah, the string constructor. Now you have to be careful about turning. I actually forgot something about turning the string to the number, if you have again, if you have the string of 10, and if you say parse, let's say num is equal to parse int, let me bring it up because I don't want it to go under the number to string. I should put it here. So if you say parse int, and if you put num, you can say that you have again 10 number. But if you have 10.5, for example, you can see that you actually have, you cannot see this 0.5 because this is parse int. So you have to be careful that this is not decimal number. If you have a decimal number, you can't use parse int, and you need to use num to parse float. So this is actually a floating number. So if you put the number here, now you can see that you have 10.5. So you need to be careful, but nevertheless, the type is number. It doesn't matter if you have this 0.5 or not. For parse int and parse float, both of them have the type of number, but with parse int, you cannot see this 0.5 actually after your first number. So you need to be careful about that. And what happens if you actually have something, if you have, for example, something like, I don't know, hello inside your variable, and you want to turn it to a number. Let's try it. We can say num is equal to parse int, and let's put the number here. You can see that here we get nan, but the type is still number, but nan actually means not a number. Now let's see what happens. Actually, if you try to convert the string of hello to a number, because you can definitely do it for the string of 10. Let me try it again. Yeah, if you actually try to convert the string of 10 to a number, it can happen. Yeah, it's possible. But if you actually change it to hello, JavaScript cannot turn it. Nothing cannot turn hello to a number. So if you do that, you still have definitely the type number, as you can see here, but you see that the value as nan, which is a special value, which means it's not a number. And nan means not a number. So hello is not a number. Now, the last thing we want to do for this part is to turn a number to a boolean. So we say number to boolean. Now, if I come up here and if I turn to a number, let num is equal to 1, you can see that here is our value and the type is number. Now, if I say, let me erase these ones. All right, now if I say that, well, num is, sorry, I shouldn't have erased this. Yeah. Don't worry. Let me erase it. All right. Now, if I say that console log num and type of num, so you can see it's 1 and the type is number. But if I say that num is equal to boolean, so we actually use the constructor of boolean and we put num inside it. You can see that we have true and the type is now boolean. Now, one thing I have to tell you is that whatever number you give the value of num is going to be true. 1, 2, I don't know, 40, I don't know, minus 10. So 1,000, it doesn't matter what number actually you give your variable, it always shows you true, except 0. So 0 is the only number that shows false when you turn your number to a boolean. And about this, I'm going to explain to you. It may sound a little complicated for you, that why would actually just 0 be false and the other numbers are true. So we're going to talk about that in our future sessions. But for now, we should know that all numbers except 0 are going to be false. All numbers are going to be true, sorry, except 0. So 2, true. So that was it. Thank you guys so much, and let's go for our next video.